The big one that we see is Mexico. Mexico is just a babe in the woods. I think Mexico will be your Taiwan of the future. There's a tremendous, tremendous market, and there's they're crying for product.
The first 3 months, I couldn't get a good sleep. I was so worried about the sales and everything else. My wife just told me to quit.
Good morning, and it's nice to see you again, Larry.
Good to see you too, Michelle. I hope you're making it okay through these trying times.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm glad to hear it.
Absolutely.
That's
Thank
good.
you. You know, when people complain that American businesses can't compete in a global marketplace, they invariably point to the trade deficit. It shows the wide disparity between what we import and what we export. Until recently, though, the United States has enjoyed substantial trade surpluses with other nations.
That's true, Michelle. And you know, now the good news is there is a new world order emerging in trade, one that could be especially beneficial for California businesses. New markets are developing, including a unified Europe and talk of a North American free trade zone. In fact, Pacific Rim trade has made the Port of Los Angeles #1 ahead of New York.
Well, Larry, for minority business operators here, all this translates into a wealth of opportunities. Small business in a global marketplace is the focus of our program this morning. We'll meet two entrepreneurs whose businesses are growing partly because of international trade. And we'll also be joined here in the studio by an export expert a little later. But right now, let's meet Moses Cordova. His business distributes nuts, bolts, fasteners, and the like.
Ah, yes, and Moses began with little capital and a small credit line, and today it's a multi-million-dollar firm with worldwide contacts. His advice: learn the nuts and bolts of international trade.
Now, you've got a lot of bolts here. Just a ballpark figure, how many bolts would you estimate that you have in this whole place?
These kegs that you see here are approximately 200 pounds per keg. We maintain approximately 70,000 kegs.
So we're talking about millions and millions and maybe even billions of bolts.
Yes, substantial, because they vary from 100,000 per keg to 8 pieces per keg. It depends on the size.
You started your first bolt business with a partner back in the late 60s. Tell us a little bit about that.
In 1967, I was working for a steel company, at which time you get during that, I think that's that 35, 37 age period in your life, and you're going to make a change. And I decided I was going to make a move and try to start my own company. And the gentleman who was in charge of the company said he would back me. So I started a small company, and we ran that company in Santa Fe Springs for a period of from 1967 through 1972, at which time it was time that he wanted out, and we were able to sell the company to a conglomerate, and I stayed with the conglomerate for 3 years, and after 3 years I decided it was time for me to make my move.
And you did.
And we started this company in 1975.
What did it feel like to create a business and then have it belong to somebody else?
It's very strange. You nurture it, you work with it. I don't know that I would do it again. And I think it affected the family even more than I. However, I had a partner, and it was because of the partner whose wishes were that we sell, and he backed me. I had no problem with that.
Now, I guess we should ask you, tell us what Cordova Bolt Company actually does.
Cordova Bolt is a full-line, fully integrated distributor of bolts and nuts. We sell to industry of every type, shape, form. We sell shipbuilding, farming. We sell steel fabrication. We sell the landscape industry. We sell the plumbing industries. These are the type of areas that we carry.
What were the challenges of setting up an import operation?
We didn't find a challenge. We found an opportunity, because the market had deteriorated within this country to the point that the domestic manufacturers no longer were competitive. We were forced to go to buy overseas in order to maintain our position. And once we did that, I don't think it was a challenge. I think it was a real benefit because of the credit terms that they did allow us to have.
When you opened Cordova Bolt business in, I guess, the 70s, the mid-70s, how much money did it actually take to get started?
We incorporated with $15,000. We had a past reputation with suppliers in Japan and some of the other countries that had faith in us, and they backed us up as far as terms of payment. Without that, it would have been totally impossible.
Do you have any thoughts about the so-called North American Free Trade Agreement, the Fast Track Agreement?
I don't see much of a change with Canada. We're already bringing material in from Canada. Probably, maybe the reduction of duty will help somewhat. The big one that we see is Mexico. Mexico is just a babe in the woods. I think Mexico will be your Taiwan of the future. There's a tremendous, tremendous market, and they're crying for product. And we've taken steps to have a Hispanic sales desk already, so we're already equipped that we can, because of faxes and telephones, so we're communicating with Mexico daily.
Mr. Cordova, this is your second business startup. What are the emotional rewards in owning and operating your own business?
The emotional rewards are that we were fortunate we were able to do it again. The last company, before we sold it, we had grown quite substantially, and we figured that was it. And I think the reward is that we see, not only for myself, but I have a lot of good, long-term loyal employees, and I think this is a benefit to all of us.
Would you say that Moses gets right down to the nuts and bolts of things?
Oh, absolutely. Could you believe the size of some of those?
Oh, he's got them from the tiniest to the largest you can possibly imagine. Nuts and bolts. And, like many business operators, Michelle, Moses is being challenged by the current recession. But with his two sons and his daughter learning the ropes, Moses hopes to export and to develop an export market, a big one, he hopes, for his products. And he wants to do that in Mexico.
A good place to do it, too.
Yes, I think so right now.
Well, Larry, after this break, we'll profile a family-owned business celebrating its 104th birthday. International trade is one of their secrets to success. But first, the latest minority business news when we come right back.
Making It Minority Success Stories is being brought to you by GTE California Incorporated, where the power is on. Union Bank, where we bring it all together. The California Lottery. You got to be in it to win it. Play Super Lotto.
Right now, we have the latest minority business news for you. The first Hispanic-owned life insurance company in the United States has been launched in Los Angeles. It's the brainchild of former TV newsman Frank Cruz and his partner, attorney Manny Sanchez. They recently acquired a majority interest in the Gulf Atlantic Life Insurance Company, and it makes a lot of sense. Hispanics now account for more than a fourth of the population in California. They make up a fifth of Arizona's population and a fourth of the Texas population as well. Cruz and Sanchez plan to tailor individual life insurance policies to Latino families.
Also, Michelle, Southern California has been a key player in export growth. According to the California State World Trade Commission, Gregory Mignano says that medium and small-sized businesses have been leading this growth. Many of the new players in the export game are minority-owned enterprises. The value of California exports rose 8% to $63.1 billion in 1991. Many California firms began increasing their export sales in the late 1980s, coinciding with a flat Pentagon spending and a fall in the value of the dollar. And that's our minority business news for this week.
Today we are focusing on international trade and how minorities in business can take advantage of import-export opportunities. Right now, we have the story of David Lee, whose family-run business is 104 years old and still going strong. The Lee Kum Kee Company specializes in various cooking sauces. Their products are found worldwide, wherever Asian food is found. David tells us it all began in China with his great-grandfather.
Well, my great-grandfather used to own a restaurant. And after he discovered this sauce called oyster sauce, and he developed it and make it very popular in the Orient. And since then, we've been producing sauce. And until the 1970s, 1972, we started to diversify into other sauces. And right now, we are over 60 different kinds of sauces. Lee Kum Kee USA is established in 1983. Was established in 1983, and since then we opened up our New York office in 1985, and also this plant here, which is less than a year old. And we do import and also export, and we also manufacture one of our most spicy products, chili sauce over here. Well, the material usually come in is fresh produce. And we process it in our processing room, and then after that we have to age the peppers to create the kind of flavor that we want. And after that, then we mix it again with the herbs and spices, and then we package it. And then after all the tests, if everything is up to standard, then we send it to our distributors.
Even with a century-long track record, launching a new branch of an established business is not easy. Family pride, local regulations, and the cost of doing business must be considered.
Well, of course, the cost of doing things over here, it's much higher than you can do it in the Orient. And and also, to start something out from scratch, it's tough. The first 3 months, I couldn't get a good sleep. I was so worried about the sales and everything else. My wife just told me to quit. But I guess after 3 months, I get a hang of it and keep doing it and keep trying, and just don't let anything bother me, and keep trying. And that's the most important thing. And after the 3 months, I got very good people, and they helped me out a lot. And I think they should get all the credit for it. Our objective here is to produce a product with high quality that I can sell worldwide. So we're doing that with the products. I'm very satisfied with the raw material we're getting here, and the product is coming out and is in demand. And what we wanted to do is, of course, to do more exporting.
Entire countries have built their prosperity on exporting goods to the world. In the shifting business fortunes of California, minority entrepreneurs are finding expanding opportunities abroad.
We export our product worldwide. As a group, we sell to more than 50 countries. And with the network that we have, the product that is produced in the United States are now sold in all these countries, including, of course, Europe and Asia, and even in Africa. Food is one thing. There's no culture barrier. I guess that's our company objective, is to blend culture. Our product right now is doing just that. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's import or produced over here. We're looking for a breakthrough in culture barrier. Even though with the higher cost of living over here compared to Asia, you can still find niche and also market that demand your product. So you have to work very efficiently, and you constantly innovate.
David Lee is exposed to long and deep family traditions every day. Century-old businesses are rare. We asked him about the legacy he wants to leave for his family.
Well, it's a little different. I guess I believe in the professional help now. I guess the family tradition should stay on, the quality, the service, and the competitive price. But the rest, I guess, you know, I got this help over here, and they're the one who is making this happen. So my family, I hope that, you know, if my sons are ready to do this business with me, is fine. If not, I think I'm in good hands too.
He brought up a very good point. Find the niche.
That's
and
right.
Work within
and
that
fill
niche.
it. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's also interesting, Larry, to track the growth of David's firm. When he founded the company's American division, they started out with just 3 employees. Today, they have 80 American workers, and they are the largest Chinese sauce makers in the world.
Pretty saucy business.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Michelle, when we come back in just a moment now, we're going to be joined by our in-studio guest. We'll find out how minority entrepreneurs can better position themselves to take advantage of international trade opportunities. But first, I'm going to tell you how to contact the State Export Development Office, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
If you're interested in reaching either of the business operators we've met this morning, here you go. Moses Cordova can be contacted at Cordova Bolt Incorporated. The number there is 714-739-7500. And to contact David Lee at Lee Kum Kee, USA, call 818-282-0337.
Okay, welcome back, and it's our pleasure to have as our in-studio guest now Gladys Moreau. She is director of the Export Small Business Development Center in Southern California. Gladys, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good to have you with us. All right, let's get right to it. Let's say that I'm a business operator and I want to learn whether or not my product or service is exportable, whether there's a market for it. What do I do?
Well, you're very fortunate to be in the Los Angeles area because there's a number of resources available to you. You can, of course, come to the Small Business Development Center where we will help you with in-house counseling, which is free to the client, and we will help you analyze whether your product has a home somewhere in the world. And may I add that most products do have a home. It's only a matter of finding out exactly where.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, how does an entrepreneur find an overseas firm whose products can be marketed here in the United States? For example, we met Moses Cordova. He would be one of those kinds of people.
Again, we're very fortunate in that we have representatives here in Los Angeles of most of the countries in the world with whom we trade. And you can contact the trade commissioners. There are telephone numbers. They're in the phone book. We have their names and numbers in the office. And they, of course, are very happy to help you contact their manufacturers in country. And will do everything they can to facilitate that task.
As simple as picking up the phone.
It's a phone call.
Yeah, a phone call. I know this might sound like a trite question because you've already partially defined it, but tell us, Gladys, if you would please, what the Export Small Business Development Center really does. What is its primary function?
Well, the primary function is to get the company who either has never exported or is only selling a little bit overseas to sell more. Because as you well know, the United States has a trade deficit and we need to close that gap. And we do that in an unusual way that has never been tried before, and that is by providing counseling from other businesses. We match up companies who want to export with companies who are already doing it in the same type of market with the same type of product. And we provide it free to our clients. So we're aligning two very unusual things, which is government and business, to help businesses go overseas.
And the third most important thing is the word free.
Free to the client, yes. And in addition to the consulting that we provide, we also put on seminars and training programs, and we also have a resource center with electronic data as well as print directories for their use.
Could you tell us, is there one single thing an entrepreneur can focus on when assessing whether their product is viable in the international marketplace?
Yes, I think the most important thing is to find out where in the marketplace, because the products from paper towels to aviation parts to computers to spacecraft, you look at the list and all those millions of dollars and billions of dollars that we were talking about before that are being exported by the United States right now, and you can see that the whole gamut is being covered. It is needed somewhere at some time.
On a very timely subject, Gladys, what role do you think export in and of itself may play in the rebuilding of South Central Los Angeles and business in that area, all over the city for that matter, that became victims of the recent civil unrest?
Well, I think it can offer hope to a lot of businesses where they may not have seen it before, especially small manufacturing businesses. As they're rebuilding, they may want to look at markets they may not have considered before that are open to them, really very close in Latin America and Canada, or even further away in Asia and Europe. There is a lot of markets for small parts that are being made in places like South Central Los Angeles, food processing that we saw earlier. There's a very good market for that. There's a number of products that are being made right now in this city that are extremely exportable, and that offers hope for those merchants that are rebuilding.
Let's hope so.
Gladys, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good to have
Really
you with us.
appreciate your
Well,
time.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and if I may mention the 800 number to my center, anyone who needs help.
We're going to do that again in just a minute.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We're going to be
Okay.
sure to mention that.
We'll be back with information how you can contact Gladys when we come right back.
Thank you.
Making It has been brought to you by Northrop. We're setting our sights higher. Southern California Edison, where together we can brighten the future. Arco Emission Control Gasoline, clean fuels for the future. And McDonald's, food, folks, and fun.
For more information on exporting, you can contact Gladys Moreau at the Export Small Business Development Center, or Export SBDC. They're at 110 East 9th Street, Suite A761, Los Angeles, 90079. The telephone number is 213-892-1111. And you can also reach them through an 800 number, and that number is 800-371-1110.
Okay, and if you have any questions or comments or any story ideas for us here on Making It, by all means, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We're at 5800 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90038. Well, we've had quite a variegated show today. We've had sauces, we've had nuts and bolts, export, and all kind of stuff.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was going to say that, it's interesting, David Lee and his sauces, they are having a growing market with the Latino population. That's because of his hot sauce and garlic sauce.
Everybody likes for things to be flavorful.
That's right.
And then there's Moses Cordova with his bolts, as big as you can imagine, or as small as you can imagine. But a lot of people, in a lot of ways, forget that everything we touch in our everyday lives, somebody has to make it, somebody has to distribute it, somebody has to sell it. And that's a wonderful thing about being in business, I
The
guess.
multitude of business opportunities.
That's right, that's right.
It's really amazing.
That's going to do it for us. We sure thank you for joining us. Hope you'll be with us again next week. I'm Larry McCormick.
And I'm Michelle Ruiz, and we'll be back next week with more news and stories from the world of minority business. Bye-bye.
Take care.